Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the February 17th Board of Library Trustees meeting. Welcome. We'll begin the meeting by having a little roll call. I'm Michael Gray. The other people, I'll just call out your name and you can tell me if you're here or not. Melanie Manheim.
Present.
Cynthia McNutt.
Here.
Christina Cooper.
Here.
David Boucher.
Here.
And Layla Johnston.
Here.
Great. Okay, everybody's here that we thought would be here. We're missing Kendra Levesque, but she has resigned. So we're looking for a new trustee for her. Okay, so the next is, do we have any public comment? Do we have anybody that wants to say anything from the public?
There's nobody in the audience, Michael.
Okay. All right, and then we'll proceed. So our first meeting agenda is the approval of the meetings of January 27th. Has everybody had a chance to look at them? Or
Yes.
I guess I should ask, did anybody find any mistakes or typos or anything that we should fix?
No, I didn't.
No.
No? Okay, then I motion that, or do I hear a motion that we accept the minutes of the January 27th meeting?
Yes, Michael,
make
I'd
the
like to
motion.
make.
Go
Okay.
ahead, David.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for the January 27th meeting.
Thank you, David. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. So the minutes are accepted. All right, the next agenda thing is, let's see, the director's report. Layla Johnston, our library director.
Thank you. Building maintenance. A shelving bracket was replaced and reinforced in the circulation workspace. Public services. CW Mars reports over 1 million ebook and e-audiobook checkouts through Overdrive in 2020. CW Mars saw an increase of 34% in checkouts on digital content in 2020 as opposed to 2019. Each year, our use of electronic materials, that would be ebooks, e-audiobooks, and e-magazines, continues to grow. In the year 2020, we reached a total of 1.808 million checkouts on electronic content. This accomplishment illustrates the continued growth and importance of library digital lending of ebooks and audiobooks, especially in a year hit hard by a global pandemic. CW Mars is one of the 102 systems around the world that surpassed 1 million checkouts. The highest circulating title readers borrowed through Overdrive in 2020 was Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Readers in Central and Western Massachusetts just need a valid library card from a CW Mars member library to access digital books from CW Mars's Overdrive-powered digital collection. Readers can use any major device, including Apple, Android, Chromebook, and Kindle readers. For more information or to inquire about digital library access, please contact the library at 413-525-5400 extension 1508 or send an email to elpubliclibrary@gmail.com. Food for thought. During the month of February, the library will continue to collect donations of non-perishable foods and toiletries for the East Long Meadow Food Pantry, hosted by the Council on Aging. Please drop off any donations in the box labeled Food for Thought near the west-facing Walgreens entrance. Thank you to all that have donated. Pajama Drive. Starting March 1st, East Long Meadow Public Library will partner with the Boston Bruins annual We're Jammin' Cradles to Crayons Pajama Drive to collect donations of new pajamas for children experiencing homelessness or housing insecurity. East Long Meadow Public Library will collect donations of pajamas for children ages birth through 18 through the month of March. All donations will be distributed to our local Department of Children and Family Services and will benefit children in Western Massachusetts. Donations can be left in a marked box in our curbside pickup location. Great decisions. The East Long Meadow Library is pleased to once again hosts the Foreign Policy Association's Great Decisions Discussion Group. This year, we will host the discussion virtually via Zoom. March meeting dates are Tuesday, March 16th at 6:30 with a discussion on the topic of Brexit and the European Union. Tuesday, March 16th at 6:30. Oh, sorry, I just said that one. I'm sorry, the first one must have been earlier in March. I had the wrong date. Let me bring up the right date for that one.
No, I missed that.
Tuesday, March 2nd for the first one. That was a typo on there.
Yep.
Tuesday, March 16th at 6 p.m. The discussion will be over struggles over the melting Arctic. And March 30th at 6:30 p.m., the discussion will be on the topic of China's role in Africa. Please register for this program, and a Zoom link will be emailed to you before each session. You can register on the library website. Winter Reading Challenge. The Books Like Us Reading Challenge was a great success. Although we did not win a virtual author visit, we had 72 active participants for a total of 273 books and 92,783 minutes read. Thank you to the Friends of the East Long Meadow Public Library for sponsoring prizes for the Winter Reading Challenge. Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners news. East Long Meadow Public Library was certified and awarded the first half of our State Aid to Public Libraries grant. That happened at the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners meeting held on February 4th, 2021. The first portion of ELPL's award will be $19,648.96. Due to the pandemic, award letters will not be mailed. I notified the appropriate town authorities to anticipate the electronic transfer of funds. The second half of state aid awards will be calculated and distributed later this spring. And finally, library worker vaccination. Thank you to all trustees that contacted their state legislators regarding the lack of library workers being included in the state's vaccination plan. I would encourage trustees to continue to advocate for the state's library workers by contacting the office of Governor Baker. I've included the letter sent to Governor Baker by the Massachusetts Library Association in your packets as a writing and advocacy example. And it also, some trustees in other parts of the state have started writing directly to Sutters, the Department of Public Health director, and that might be a more effective way to ensure that library workers are included in the state's vaccination plan. As it is right now, retail and restaurant workers are included in phase 2 along with educators, and library workers have not been mentioned specifically at all at this point. So any advocacy that can be done to support library workers being included in phase 2 would be of a huge help for the library right now. And tomorrow I'll email everybody Sutter's contact information, so you have that in addition to the governor for people who are interested. That concludes my report for tonight.
Great. Do I have a motion to accept the director's report?
I'll
move
we
we
accept.
Go ahead, Christine.
I move we accept the director's report for tonight's meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Our next order of business are the committee reports. Do we have anything to, let's see. We have the gift and donation policy.
Yeah, Christina and I have done the gift and donation policy to present to you.
Great.
I think it's in the
Yep.
documents Layla sent.
Yep.
Okay.
Who wants to just read it?
Do you want to, or do you want me to, Christina?
I'm good either way. Would you prefer?
I'll read it.
Okay. You did so much of the work on it. You should get to read it.
Well, whatever. If you look, do you all have a copy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The East Long Meadow Public Library is a resource belonging to all members of our community and welcomes gifts of books, materials, equipment, and money. I think there's 2 ands in there, that one of them can be removed.
That's true.
Another time.
The library reserves the right to refuse any gift that the library director and/or Board of Library Trustees in its sole discretion deems not to be in the best interest of the library to accept. If the gift is accepted by the library, the gift shall be final and no restrictions on the library's ownership, possession, use, or disposition of the gift shall be effective other than restrictions approved by the express vote of the Board of Library Trustees and documented. Money. The East Long Meadow Public Library has a volunteer nonprofit organization, the Friends of the East Long Meadow Public Library, Inc. It is able to receive money donations on behalf of the library. The Friends of the East Long Meadow Public Library is a registered 401(c)(3) charitable organization, and all donations are tax deductible. The library also has a gift account that receives unrestricted funds. The gift account is held by the town of East Long Meadow and managed by library administration. Donation to the library's gift account are tax deductible. Monetary gifts may be recognized with book plates if the donor requests, or with such other recognition as the library director may deem appropriate. Donations to the library are used for a variety of purposes or to satisfy special requests of donors. Literacy Path Bricks and Giving Wall. The purpose of the Literacy Path Bricks and Giving Wall is to assist donors who wish to remember a loved one, honor a person, or celebrate a graduation, birthday, anniversary, or retirement. Both forms of recognition allow an individual to express a unique event and at the same time help financially support the services and programs of the library. Literacy Path Bricks. The bricks may be purchased for $75 through the Friends of the East Long Meadow Public Library, Inc. An order form with specific instructions can be found on the Friends of the East Long Meadow Public Library, Inc. An order form with specific instructions can be found on their website, and the website is included. Do you want me to read it?
No, that's fine.
Okay. The Giving Wall. The Giving Wall is located directly across from the circulation desk. A gift of $500 or more may be donated to place a commemorative plaque on the Giving Wall. Engraving a commemorative plaque is optional. If a donor would like a plaque engraved, the individual should make his or her wishes known at the time the contribution is received at the library. A follow-up with additional instructions will be provided. Materials. Gifts of miscellaneous books or materials in good condition and published within the last 5 years are accepted, with the understanding that items not added to the collections will be disposed of at the discretion of the library. These items may be given to the Friends of the Library for sale, given to other libraries, or discarded. Due to limited storage in the building, the donation of large quantity of materials is discouraged. No more than 1 box of materials may be offered to the library at any one time. Valuation. The East Long Meadow Public Library will provide a timely written acknowledgement of the receipt of gifts to the donor, and if desired, to a recognized individual or organization. Income tax regulations leave the determination of the gift's monetary value to the donor. Donors wishing to have an appraisal of their gifts done for income tax purposes should do so prior to donation at their own expense. Future disposition of gifts. Libraries used extensively by their patrons sustain losses through theft, mutilation, and ordinary wear. Resources with obsolete and/or misleading information may be discarded over time. The library therefore cannot guarantee that any gift will be part of the collection or furnishing permanently. Such articles may be first offered to other town departments and then given to the Friends of the Library for disposition or discarded. Transfer of ownership form. There's a form attached. So the document of transfer of ownership, I hereby present as an unrestricted gift to the East Long Meadow Library the gift described below. And we would need the date, name of the person donating, address, received by, and who took it in, and a description of the gift.
Okay.
And that would be the gift policy that we put forth so far.
Now, under literacy path bricks,
Uh-huh.
there's a sentence fragment there that you might want to pull out.
Let's see that. Okay.
The second sentence says, an order form with specific instructions can be found on the Friends of the East Long Meadow Public Library, Inc. And then it says, an order form with specific instructions. So is that a duplicated sentence?
Well,
Okay. That
well,
needs to, I think that might need to be just,
Well-
the first sentence could come out.
the order form can be found on their website, so
So you could add the word website, but then
yeah,
you
that's
say,
what needs to be there, Michael.
If
The
we
word
just deleted
website?
the second, excuse me, the second instance of an order form with specific instructions can be found on there, we just delete that and it will go straight to the word website. Can be found on the
okay.
Friends of
Oh, yeah,
East Long
yeah,
Meadow
yeah,
Public Library
that would work.
website.
Yep. Yeah. Except
Okay.
you want them to know that they're, you want them to know what can go on that plaque, how many lines, how many letters.
okay.
So,
My other question was for Layla. If people come in with boxes of books and they're older or they're not what you want, is there a book drop somewhere that you tell people to take them over there?
So that's covered by our collection development policy. And we will accept one box at a time.
Right.
And if materials are outdated or in poor condition, et cetera, we dispose of them. We do not accept those kind of donations.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you had a place where you tell people that we don't take these, but there's like a Goodwill box or something somewhere where they can take their books. No?
No, because generally they just bring the one box. Most of the people who donate are familiar with our procedures.
Okay.
And you can refer them though if there are other places that would take them. But like you said, it would just be a general Goodwill or something like that.
Okay.
If you like, Layla, I have, at the Long Meadow Library, we have this list that's, we give to people that has it lists Goodwill and Savers and just other places they could drop them off. If you want me to send you a copy of that, it can be just handy to hand to people we're not taking them right now, but these people might.
Sure.
Or you can send them to an electronic version of it.
that sounds good.
That'd be handy to have at the front
Yeah.
desk.
I will do that.
Okay.
Okay, now as part of that committee, are we working on redoing the wall, or is that a long-term project?
Well, I talked to Layla about that, the wall, and what we decided is that it says the giving wall, and I think it said gifts in memory of, and we would just eliminate the in memory of. When the giving wall was put up, it was to help the building fund for donations toward that. And so Layla said, I believe if I got you correctly, Layla, the DPW could handle that like removing the in memory of.
If we're just looking to remove that plaque that says in memory of, and maybe remove that other decorative
Piece.
panel that doesn't have anything on it except for decoration,
Exactly.
our DPW could take care of that for us.
Yeah, and then you might be able to add another board,
Yeah, maybe,
an
depending
expansion board. Yeah,
on so forth. Yeah, yep.
that's what we're thinking, Michael.
Okay, good.
Okay, so we did address that.
Okay, great. Is there any old business that we need to talk about? No, okay. So now we have new business, and we have our memorandum of understanding discussion.
Want to have a vote to accept the gift policy, or do you want us to continue working on it? Either way is fine.
Well, okay, good. Let's, with that amendment that we talked about, do I have a motion to accept the gift and donation policy?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the gift and donation policy.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I second that.
Excellent. Thank you to the team.
Would you like me to just adjust that language we talked about and
Could you
then
do that,
send it
Christine?
to everybody again?
And take that
Yeah.
extra and out.
And take the extra and out, yes.
Right.
I
I
don't
will
think
do
you
that.
need to send it to everybody again. It just needs
Who
to
should
be
I send
done.
it to?
Me.
Layla,
Layla? Melanie, okay, very good.
Cool.
you can send one to me too.
And I'll
just
send
so-
one to
so-
you, Cindy, since
just so I have it.
you want to have it, yep.
Mm.
Alrighty.
Okay, our next agenda item is the Friends of the Library report.
So the, oh, this was for the MOU discussion.
Oh, sorry.
We skipped
Right.
over one. So I'd like to thank Layla for adding this to the agenda. It was kind of late last week. I sent an email about that. So thank you very much. So because the Friends and the libraries work together, and as your trustee liaison to the Friends Board, I listen to the trustees, the Friends, the library. That's part of our responsibility. I have served as liaison between the Friends and the trustees, and this is part of the communication process to make for a better library. As a trustee, I attend all the Friends meetings, the monthly meetings, and give my trustee report to the Friends, and vice versa. The Friends reciprocate as liaison and provide me with a report, which I read to all the trustees at the trustee meetings under Friends report to share the Friends news. Knowing that the Friends were thinking about an MOU, I was asked to discuss their thoughts on the MOU, look at some language in the document, and collaborate. So we had a 1.5-hour meeting with the Friends MOU Subcommittee on January 28th, and we had a great, healthy discussion. I did listen to what they thought and what their ideas were to have in the MOU and what information they wanted to include in the MOU document. And I shared what 4 items I had during my research as a trustee, which all trustees have once they come on board. They had the same information as well. We shared many sample MOUs from the extensive research we all contributed to gain knowledge. And the MBLC, the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, and the Massachusetts Friends of the Library groups recommend an MOU. My research, the MBLC recommended 3 library MOUs for me to add to my research that I in turn recommended to the Friends to look at for language per the MBLC's request. The American Library Association, ALA, also recommends the MOU. It basically outlines how the 2 entities work together and collaborate in harmony, just as we do now. The MBLC documents all provide the framework for the MOUs. MOUs are basically good business practice. The Friends Subcommittee said that they had the MBLC look at the document at the draft. They made their edits, and that reflects the MBLC's approval for structure and content. So it was good to know that they did take a look at that. Most libraries do appear to have an MOU in place between Friends and trustees. I read and reread through this draft that the Friends provided to the trustees. A few facts: this MOU already reflects the way we do things and how we, the Friends in the library, operate and how we function right now. There are no surprises. My job is to be properly informed and then to properly inform you. So the research entailed, the MBLC had a standard template sample of an MOU that they do encourage, just to follow. ALA supports the MOU, and they too have a standard template for an MOU. Let's see. The Friends of the Library section, they had a primer on Friends operating agreements, and the United for Libraries, which is ALTAFF, Libraries Need Friends. Those are other documents. The MOU is not a contract, and while not a legally binding document, it does indicate an understanding to assist in the explanation of Friends' roles and library roles while collaborating towards the same goals for a better library. This simply sets forth an understanding of mutually accepted expectations of the roles each one plays. It basically describes their relationship. It's an understanding between the parties involved, and it's an understanding for the present and gets handed down for the future players. MOUs can always be edited down the road. The Friends always welcome the trustees' input and always the library director, of course, in assisting in any language development, as well as meet the needs of the library as a whole. The Friends agenda is very much in concert with the library goals and objectives. We all work to ensure a positive momentum, and we all strive for clear and consistent communication. When I was on the Friends board, I wish we had an MOU. I, having served on both boards, the Friends board and the Trustees board, I do understand what the MOU says, how it reads, and why it's used. It's my duty to bring this information to the trustees and to the library director to listen to what the Friends have to say. The Friends submitted to the trustees this draft MOU. Layla did include the draft MOU in your packets. It stands with a great deal of research, thought, and flexibility of the Friends. This is only a draft that they provided us with. The Friends group are very easygoing and communicated their flexibility with the MOU, and its purpose is only to help for a better library. The Friends are open to change in this draft. It's only a draft. Now I'd like to have some respectful dialogue amongst the trustees, library director, all of us, to listen to each other. And if you have any questions, I can help guide you where some of the information in here comes from, or how it's used, or how it's worked into our library as a whole, and how we all communicate. And that's what I have for right now. And just to let you know a little about the MOU from my perspective, the MOU is basically an outline of how we communicate and work together to a better library. That's all it really is to me when I read the document. So if I can hear from everyone and listen to what everybody has to say, and I can bring that information to the Friends. And
sorry. I really appreciate this being laid out so clearly as a person who didn't totally understand the relationship between the Friends and the library and the board in terms of who's doing what and fundraising. And it's really great to see it all just laid out so clearly. And there's one question. It looks like somebody had added in red, after the library agrees, the fourth bullet point down.
Yeah.
Sharing with the Friends the library's strategic initiatives at the beginning of each fiscal year. And the question is, should it be the library's fiscal year or the Friends fiscal year? I'm assuming it would probably be the library's fiscal year, like saying like, here's what our plan is for the upcoming year. But I just wonder who would answer that question.
okay, so the reason why the Friends added that in red was just because it would be up to however we or the library as a whole wanted to handle that. I think they were trying to figure out if it was going to be the library's fiscal year or the Friends, and that was just up in the air to just give at least those 2 months, either July or May. So I'll that's a great recommendation, that it would be the library to kind of keep with that consistent flow with how the library thinks at that time and what they're how they're communicating.
I agree that I think the library date is important because Layla and the board would set their plans for the year, maybe their needs, and the Friends supply the needs. So if the Friends start early, but they don't yet know what the library wants, then they kind of have to wait. But it may be, and Layla, do you have an opinion on this?
I have a question. Melanie, did you reach out to the town manager regarding the MOU?
So I reached out to the NBLC, the ALA, 2 more people, town manager and 1 more. And let me get my information all squared away. So the town manager did not think that it was, she didn't think that the library director or the town manager was signed as a party, just because the terms don't bind either of those positions.
So this is not a binding contract or anything like that, correct?
So I know that it did have 4 signatures, you know, on this draft, and that was just because no other signatures could possibly be on an MOU. These would only be the only 4. If not, usually MOUs, the MOUs that I've seen really only have the president, the Friends president, and the chair of the library trustees.
Okay.
So those are the 2 entities which really sign, you know, or who could actually possibly vote on this. So that's what I've seen.
Well,
But it does have in here, that it says like to provide the Friends with staff support. So that would be library staff support?
Where is it?
Oh, it's under one of the bullet points under the library agrees to, and it's one, two,
number 9.
thank you, number 9. To provide the Friends with staff support to assist with scheduling, distribution of Friends materials, promotion and sale of Friends items. Yeah. And if this is a contract between the Board of Library Trustees and the Friends,
Mm-hmm.
then we can't really ask the staff of the library to be part of this, right?
So that was a
Okay.
question that I also was inquiring with the MBLC, and with that, to assist in scheduling. So the Friends have board meetings,
Mhm.
monthly board meetings. So we need I say we because I was on the Friends board once. So when they call the library and let them know, you know, what their monthly meetings are, or if they need to change it, they have use of the what is it, the community room, the conference room? I forget. I think it's the conference room. So they have to schedule that time frame for the room. So that's one. And also the Friends activities that they have for fundraising events. So one of them is also the chocolate sampling, which happens in every February. So they have to coordinate with the library to make sure that they schedule that room, they block it off for the setup of something like the chocolate sampling that they host and they set up. So the Friends come in, they usually, I think maybe an hour and a half, I forget what the time frame is, before the chocolate sampling happens, and they set up the tables and chairs, and they do all their decorations, and they get all the sweet treats and the chocolates and everything organized. And then at the end, then they break all that down and they clean up and take care of that. So that's part of that scheduling.
It just sounds like that the library staff would have to do some things with the used book sale and branded merchandise and that kind of thing. So I don't think the Board of Trustees or the Friends can have the authority or the jurisdiction to ask the library to provide staff. That would be up to the administration of the library or the town, I think.
Okay.
So I mean, what I'm trying to say is there's some things that are already written in terms of what the Board of Library Trustees can do, but via the new form of town government under a town manager. So if we're under a town manager, we have an understanding of what the board can do and can't do under those guidelines. And if some of this has library staff or library resources, that would come under the administration of the library or the town. So I think you know, and this is supposed to be a mutual understanding between the Board of Trustees and the Friends, correct?
No, this is, well,
Well,
this is, it says at the top, it's the board and the library, it's the Friends and the library.
Mhm.
And to me, this seems like there's the bullet points that the Friends would agree to if this is acceptable to Leila and the town manager. And then there's things that the library might agree to if they're acceptable to Leila and the town manager. And of course, because this comes from the Friends, I'm going to assume that everything on here is already acceptable to the Friends. So the big question here, given that this is not binding and the town manager's already been asked about it, would be, Leila, do you have issues with any of the bullet points that the Friends are agreeing to or that the library agrees to that you don't agree to?
So my concerns remain the same as they were when this was first brought up in June of 2019. Christina, unlike Long Meadow, in Long Meadow, my staff are all in unions. I don't know if you've ever worked in a union environment before. Okay, so there are different ways that union environments have to be run compared to non-union. And one of those is that everyone in a union, we now have 2 unions in the library. One for clerical staff, which is who you would think of as your circulation staff, and one for librarians, children's librarian, etc. This concern was brought up in June of 2019, and my concerns remain the same today. And the town manager and I have had a few conversations about this. This is something that is, how do I want to say this? This is, in the way that this is currently written, this agreement is not something that library administration would sign and agree to. If this is something that's going to be pursued further, I recommend that the board forms a committee, and that committee can then work with me on language that would be appropriate for the particular circumstances of East Long Meadow Public Library. And again, like I said, the town manager has reviewed this, and this is not something that would be, that the library could agree to at this time. My staff are busy running the public library. And this causes, putting things in writing can sometimes bring the can of worms to burst open, if you will. So, you know, I don't want to say too much, but again, there are some, particularly under the bullet points having to do with secure areas of the building and assigning tasks to library staff, those would need to be reviewed and could not be, this would not be signed. This would not be something that administration would sign at this time.
Now, are there just a few bullet points that are issues here, or is it just things to do with, you know, the library staff? Are they, in other words, is this 90% harmless and agreeable to, or is it, you know, are many things wrong with it from your perspective?
Well, you know, again, like in the preamble, it states the following will constitute an operating agreement between the Friends of the East Long Meadow Library Incorporated and the East Long Meadow Public Library. It will stand unless it is modified by mutual agreement of the Friends Executive Board and the East Long Meadow Public Library Administration. Well, that right there would have to be changed. This is not an agreement that can be entered into between the Friends and administration under our form of government. And like I said, these are all concerns that I brought up in June of 2019. The board decided to table this at that time. because of just the potential with the anti-aid amendment. Again, Christina in Longmeadow, the Council on Aging or Senior Center, whichever one it is you call it there, was trying to do something similar with putting in a retail establishment to support fundraising activities of the senior center. And they were told they cannot do this. This is a violation of what is known as the anti-aid amendment. There are a lot of rules and regulations around what type of fundraising can be done on public property. And so the way this agreement is currently written, it's establishing a retail operation within the public library space using library staff to support that retail operation. That's not something that the town manager and I can agree to at this time.
Yeah,
So,
every library is different. It's true.
Yeah.
They're very different.
So our next step would be to establish a subcommittee. Layla, is that what you recommend at this time?
That depends on, you know, again, I can't really make recommendations in the sense that this is not something that I feel that, this is not something that I feel is going to, let's put it this way. We already have a really good working relationship with the Friends and the trustees and so forth. If the library decides this is if the trustees decides this is something that they want to pursue, then yes, we would need to form a committee, and that committee would have to work with an attorney. This is going to be very complicated and very expensive. And the end result might be that we're told that we can't have an ongoing book sale. And I don't want to take that chance either.
Right.
This was why when this came up almost 2 years ago, everybody talked about it and decided to table it. There was a very big discussion on the Friends listserv right before the holidays. I did not get the impression from that discussion that very many libraries in Massachusetts had an MOU at all. There were 3 out of more than 300 organizations in the state that had an MOU that responded to the list. That doesn't mean that all of them don't have them. That means they didn't respond.
Right.
But this is not something that's very common in Massachusetts. And it's also, you know, again, we would need to be very slow and very careful. And I'm trying to understand what this is attempting to address.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the only thing it would be addressing, as I had said before, was to just communicate how everybody works together. I think that was the only effect for it. You know, I can have a talk with the subcommittee for the
I'm not sure having a subcommittee is a good idea right now. My feeling after listening to this and having been here for the previous go-round with the MOU, I understand what it is and what it's trying to do, but it's obvious that the creators of the MOU were unaware of the legal ramifications of a union.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I guess I would ask that maybe, Melanie, you could go back to the Friends at their next meeting and basically say there are just some things that we hadn't taken into consideration. And I like the, you know, it's just me, I like the fact that this is sort of, you know, you could almost, I'd say what's kind of like this is what we'd like. This is sort of a, you know, these kind of considerations are the kind of things that go on between Friends and the board and the library, and exclude the things that Layla feels are problematic.
Mm-hmm.
But to just have this as a, you know, unofficial, this is how we would like, this is how we support the library, and these are things that the trustees can do. You know, I think that I like the idea that if somebody says, well, what's the relationship between all these people, that there's something that you could read. It could be a new trustee that wants to know, how do the friends work, between the library? What's the way everybody works together, but not have it be called an MOU, which is a more official document. Have it be something that, that even Layla would be happy if somebody come in and said, how does the board and everything work, that you'd have this just, it's on, no, maybe not. It's not, I guess what I'm asking is, can we have something like this for your information as opposed to it being an official document? Does that sound reasonable, Layla?
Well, it sounds like what you're describing would be something as simple as a roles and responsibilities document.
That's right.
Be more effective and informative because it would be more clear, it would be more concise, and it wouldn't give the impression that it was a binding contract or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were going to do that, I would suggest that if there's a committee, there should be a friends person, a trustee person, and a library person that come up with the roles and responsibilities, like a little chart.
Yep.
And that would be, nice and helpful to have for new board members of the library or the friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pretty
Yeah,
easy.
for new friends and new staff too, just they come in and say, so how does this work? And you say, here's how it generally works.
Yeah.
The whole purpose for existing is to
I think that
support the library.
it's been a little.
That's
Well, hang on. There's two people talking at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Layla.
The friends exist to fundraise and support the library. So it's pretty easy for roles and responsibilities right there. But anyway, Cindy, somebody was trying to talk.
Yeah, I was trying to say that, there was some confusion because the role of the board under a town meeting form of government was quite different
Yes.
than the role of the board is now under the town charter, under a town manager. And so it may be helpful to lay out the role of the board under the town manager form of government, so that people don't get confused as to what their jurisdiction or what role they're supposed to play. And if that was delineated, as the friends would be delineated, as the library would be, what they're charged with, then I think that would be helpful to inform everybody, the whole town, as to how we communicate and what we're doing. I always would err on the side of good communication and communicating with each other, so we're all on the same page. And I don't think everybody's on the same page with this, especially with the new form of government. It's a little more confusing. Just my 2 cents, sorry.
Also, how does the library inform the friends of what it needs, and when and how does that happen?
Yeah, so the children's librarians, the adult services librarian, and so we have multiple ways that we communicate with the friends. Erica Petrosky is our friends liaison. She's our circulation supervisor, and she attends friends meetings. She attends every month. And then also we have 3 different librarians: Sharon, who handles the YA, Maura handles the adult, and then Michelle handles the children's. They submit their requests to the friends in writing so that the friends can review them and then vote on them at their meetings.
Okay, good. And Erica presents these things, or the letter?
It's not as formal as that, but Erica mainly fills in on what's going on at the library, and keeps the friends up to date with everything that's going on at the library. And then the librarians handle their funding requests.
Okay. Melanie, you're deep into this, and a lot of work has been done on this. What's your recommendation at this point?
Well, I thank everyone here for at least listening to the Friends and what they had in their draft. First of all, my recommendation is that I think at this point I should go back to the Friends as liaison and let them know this information, see what they have to say, and maybe we will, want to have one or two trustees or like Layla had mentioned, meet or have a meeting with Layla, a trustee and a Friends member, and perhaps the town manager, and figure out, what this could be, or B, just have a role in understanding, or a role of responsibilities document, as you had mentioned before. So let me go back to see what the Friends have to say. And remember, I'm just the liaison.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying my best here. So, but it's good, healthy conversation and discussion. So I thank you all very much for listening to them and listening to me.
Okay, so we won't make any motions to form committees or any of that, because it sounds to me like the library feels that there's some stuff that's not understood by the Friends and that it may not be a necessary activity. I just, as the chairperson, feel that it was great for me to read all the things that, are in this. I enjoyed reading it, so.
So do you want to table this for now, or how do you want to?
I think let's wait for Melanie's report back to us from whatever the
Okay,
Friends decide. I mean, they
Okay.
did a lot of work, but if legally there's issues that they weren't aware of, they need to be aware of them and either come back at us with something that's more palatable to Layla and the town manager, or convert it to something else so it's not wasted.
right. You just have to make sure you're not going to run into legal problems or
Right,
like Layla said, you don't want to open a can of worms.
right,
No.
right. No worms.
I think you want to tread carefully with how this is done.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good, everyone.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Do we have a Friends of the Library report?
We do. I'll speak again.
Okay.
So let's see, the Friends report. A report to the library trustees. So to update, after the Friends had their January's meeting, the Friends voted via email in favor of paying for the installation of the new rugs in the conference room and the remainder of the second floor beyond the teen area. Due to the longevity of COVID-19 and its financial devastation throughout the world, it was determined that the rugs would not be on the town's priority list because of everything that was going on. The Friends' mission is to be advocates for the library and financially support it in areas in which the town does not, such as services and programming, all normal libraries. Because of the generosity of the Friends, because of the generosity to the Friends by the Bernard Vinnick Trust, the Friends Board is fortunate to be able to provide funds for this capital expenditure. When the doors of the library reopen to the public, we can all take pride in its new appearance of the rugs. The Friends held their monthly meeting on Monday, February 1st, 7 p.m. via Zoom. The Friends' guest for the evening was Town Manager Mary McNally. She addressed the board to express her appreciation for financing the completion of the library's carpet project. She explained that the installation of carpet squares instead of the broad loom carpeting is advantageous because, one, it's less labor intensive, which affects the overall cost, and number two, should an area become stained or worn, it could easily be replaced with matching carpet squares, which will be kept in reserve. The work by DeMoro Rug and Tile is to take place sometime near the end of February or the beginning of March. Erica Petrosky informed the Friends that on January 11th, a new software program went into effect in which patrons can schedule their own curbside pickup online. It is also tax season, and the IRS and Massachusetts income tax forms are available and located at curbside pickup location. Due to the difficulties of the COVID-19 vaccination rollout, the staff has been helping individuals 75 years of age and older. The Longmeadow Public Library was closed for a short time, and the East Longmeadow staff accommodated Longmeadow's patrons. There are approximately 80 curbside appointments per day, which I didn't know. That's pretty good number.
good.
It is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I did report on to them. Let's see. I relayed to them the library directors and the trustees' gratitude with regards to funding the cost to complete the installation of the carpeting in the building. And I did personally congratulate Therese Moriarty and Sue Metzadakis as new members to the Friends board.
Oh,
The Friends did vote to accept their own bylaws, the latest edited draft, as the final document. And let's see, they talked about the MOU, but we already went over that. I won't reiterate that. Scholarship, new topic. The Friends are considering having scholarships for high school students, and they had a short discussion about the do's and don'ts of nonprofit organizations and setting up a scholarship fund. The Friends newsletter was emailed to all of its members on January 14th. If you did not receive it and have paid the membership dues, the reason may be that your email address is not in the Friends database. So if you'd like to receive a newsletter, contact the Friends at email address foelpl@gmail.com. And our thanks to everyone who submitted an article, and a sincere appreciation to Laura Palmer, the Friends editor, for putting it all together. Currently, the Friends have 259 members, and the Friends' next meeting is Monday, March 1st at 7 p.m. And that's the end of the report.
Okay, great. Thank you, Melanie. I want to thank you again, Melanie, for filling in for Kendra as secretary. It wasn't your job this year, but you ended up doing it. So thank you. It's a lot of work, and I just wanted to recognize you for that. Okay, under other business, we have something to talk about, which is the 3-year term that we spend on the board. My term is up and Melanie's term is up in May. Neither of us are going to be returning. We're both going to resign. It's been great. And of course, we'll still be here up until then. But what that does, because of Kendra leaving, it means that Cindy, David, and Christina need to agree on who's the chair, who's the vice chair, and who's the secretary, because I don't think you can have a new person have any of those jobs. So we could have a committee, but I think the three of you just need to talk amongst yourselves. And in the May meeting, whatever you decide or before, let us know, and then I'll step aside and the new chair will take over in May. I also want to say that, we need to get some, good people on the board. If any of the board members have friends that are interested, please talk it over. If Layla knows anybody, please contact them. One thing that was suggested is that maybe the children's librarian, Michelle, would know some parents that are real library fans that might be interested. And then another thing is, I know Kendra's opening is posted now on the website, but it's kind of difficult to get to. So I was wondering if maybe the Friends, this is for you, Melanie, if maybe you could ask the Friends to put a line in their newsletter that we need a trustee, along with if you need board members for your board. And I was wondering for Layla, if you could maybe put something in the library newsletters or on the website that we're looking for good people who believe in the library. It's not a hard job. It's the secretary's job is the big job. Melanie's been doing that. Yes, Layla?
Question. Michael, do you want me to go ahead and ask the town manager to start advertising in the reminder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's 90 days and,
Yep.
you can't always find people. There's COVID. I mean, make sure people understand this is an online thing right now. So there's not any issues of safety. This is just, this job is as good as you put yourself into it. It's you can dig in and go to lots of meetings and become real informed, or just show up for an hour on, once a month. It's up to you how much you want to put into it. But yeah, I think 90 days is maybe, hopefully enough time to try to find some new people. Now, Melanie, again, has agreed to work with the new people as they come in. When I started, I came in like, I think February, March, April. I came in a few months before and just sat in the meeting to see what it was like to be a trustee. There was another Gray in charge way back then as the chairman, no relation. But that's not a bad thing to suggest, that we have, that you sit in and watch how it all happens. So anyway, that's our other business. Does anyone else have any suggestions for how we might do this and get good people?
Well, people are listening right now, so some of them might consider that they might want to help their community in this manner.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
And I
Melanie?
think also maybe if Layla would be able to, I don't know if you'd have to speak with the town manager first about this, but if you'd be able to write up a little blurb on the Facebook page, the library's Facebook page, or other social media accounts that you have, I think that would be very healthy
I do too.
in communicating those seats. I know it is listed on the town's website as of right now. I know you have to navigate through it a little bit. I think Kendra's seat is
John has
listed.
a suggestion.
Yeah, I want to tell you that I posted it this morning on the bulletin board, on the LCAT bulletin board.
Thank you.
So
Oh, that's good.
that will, I don't know what the audience is, how many likely candidates are in the audience, but
You never know.
might be a shot.
Right. Okay, so with that, our next virtual meeting is Wednesday, March.
I have something
Oh.
else, Michael, if I can add one
Oh,
more.
okay.
So under other business, I had something to bring up to the trustees. I know that we all know that our library is part of a library telescope program, and I was wondering if the trustees would think about having a telescope policy. I know that a lot of Massachusetts libraries that have a library telescope, they have a policy called a telescope policy that kind of, they created the document just to provide a platform, a location to combine and incorporate all the facts about the telescope and some information on it. And just the guidelines that they kind of pulled out through the borrower's policy, how long you can have it for or check out and what have you. So I thought that would be a good idea, and I was curious what others had to say. I know the Hopkinton Library has it, Concord Mass Library, Truro has it, Marlborough. I know there's quite a bit of libraries that have that, but at least it'll provide a platform, like a guideline of the borrowing time frame, and a little background information. I think that would be healthy. And I don't know what others or the library director had to say, just an idea.
That sounds good.
Well, my
Or would
suggestion
that be
there
covered under the borrower's policy?
Well, the
Or added to
telescope
it?
is listed under, that's one of the items that's listed there, as far as how long you can check it out for.
Right.
I think Layla said that they could check it out for a week. And that was the information.
Okay.
Well, there's a procedures sheet that's included with the telescope when people borrow it. But if the board feels that they would like to work on a more formal policy, that's fine. That's just up to all of you, to just decide and let me know.
well,
And there are some samples of that, Melanie?
Yes, I can email everybody. The Athol Library in
Okay.
Massachusetts, Hopkinton.
Okay.
I don't know how many libraries do you have. I mean, I have 5, but I know the Ludlow Library has a library telescope, but they don't have a telescope policy.
Okay.
So
My
I
question
can
would be,
email everybody the three or 4 libraries that do have it.
Okay.
is the telescope that unique of an item? There are a lot of things that are checked out of the library. So I'm just wondering if pulling one item out as an exception, is there, I know it's a real expensive item. Layla, what's your thought on that? In other words, I know you just said if we want a policy, we can make one, but my suggestion might be that Melanie, if you could forward those copies of the policy to Layla, she could just kind of look over them and see where, if that sort of fits in, given that all the different kind of things that the library lends out.
Sure.
Does the telescope warrant a separate,
A separate policy.
yeah,
Or could it be included in one of the policies we already have?
right, maybe it could be included with more, information.
That's what I mean.
I like the idea that it's called out.
Right.
But to single it out might be, well, there's a few other things that people sign out, computers or, their electronic devices and stuff like that. Maybe, do they need policies too? I don't know. Or do you want to, I think.
I know that I forgot about this. We do, I think the library has the Chromebook policy, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Okay, so if we do have policies to go with different electronic items, then I suppose we could have one for the telescope too.
Sure.
Why don't we take a look at that and read what Melanie sends us, and we'll
Okay.
bring this back up as an item for next month.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Sorry, just one question. Are the Chromebooks, do they have their own policy or are they just in library use only?
The answer is yes to both of those.
Okay.
They have their own policy and they are for in-library use only. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. All right.
No, nothing to be sorry about. That's why we're here. All right, great. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, March 17th at 6 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I will second that motion.
Okay, and by the
Hey.
power invested in me, I adjourn tonight's meeting, and I look forward to seeing all of you in a month.
Okay, we'll
Thank
see you.
Sounds
Take care.
good.
Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night.
Bye.
Good night.